Hey people, welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another episode of Red Room. I promise to keep record of the number of episodes, but you guys know I say one thing and do another thing, and so I haven't kept up, but we will count up and start doing episode 16 or whatever it is of Red Room. But people, you are all very welcome. In the week that the first international break is over, was that the first international break? Of course it was. People, are you bored? Are you tired? Are you really tired? Well, let us know. Let us know in the comments. Let us know in the chat. What are you looking forward to on the weekend? Because I tell you what I'm looking forward to. I'm looking forward to Liverpool playing football again. I'm looking forward to seeing these Reds. No, we're not going to be playing in red, apparently. We're going to be playing in that emerald green.
Greeny. Yeah.
Yep.
We're looking forward to the greens. Don't take that the wrong way. We're looking forward to the greens on the weekend, people. And we're here to talk about it. Mo's in the building. Mo, how are we doing?
I'm all good. I'm just like, get this week done. It's been so boring. Like, I know international football and all that, but give me my club back. I can't wait to see Isaac in that shirt. I'm sure we're going to address that, whether he's going to play or not. But yeah, I'm just excited. Just get this next 24, 40 hours away, get the Premier League back, and let's get going.
If people are not familiar with Jack, where have you been? Jack is the
Cello in the background.
No, I'm trying to work out player-wise.
Oh, I get John Arne. I usually want to grow my hair just because of my little ginger.
No. I'm not talking about looks-wise. I'm talking about role-wise, like importance to the team-wise, like specific role. So I'm thinking.
Fabinho, Wataru Endo. He's a 6. He's the deep player.
Wataru Endo.
Unbelievable. Hey,
there we go.
You put Jack on last 10 minutes to see a game.
Right, cool.
I'm not quite. Welcome, lads. I think we're on episode 6 this season.
There
as
you
well.
go. Look at that.
So, yeah.
I knew it. I was going to go to Jack anyway when it comes to stats and facts and behind the scenes. If you don't know Jack is the main man behind editing, producing, and organizing everything on my behalf. I literally just turn up. Jack does everything.
You're the star.
I love Jack. I absolutely love Jack.
Well, then he's Szoboszlai then. Come on.
Oh, yeah, he doesn't work. Yeah,
I didn't want to say that. I didn't want to go there. I didn't want to go there, Kev.
Give him Endo. Give him a first team for release.
Yeah, you know what? I probably did Jack dirty by saying Endo. Cav's probably right.
I tell you why I did. I tell you why I didn't say Szoboszlai, because Jack doesn't like.
I haven't got the lung capacity of that fella.
Exactly, and Szoboszlai loves himself. Jack doesn't. You know what I mean?
What?
I'm not that good looking.
No, do you know what I mean by that though? You know
the hole's getting bigger.
But yeah, let's keep digging, boy. What a start! He took a week off. He's brought Jack on. He's like, Jack hates himself. Let's
right, you came out with a brilliant example, Mike, and then you effed it all up. All right. Welcome, Jack. How you doing?
Welcome, everyone. We got there eventually. There we go.
Good. Cav's in the building. Cav, you okay, my friend? I know we've got some topics that are really going to get you excited in later on, but I hope hope the international break hasn't bored you to bloody death.
Nah, I mean, I'll be honest with you. I'm not sure how you guys feel about international football. I'm not interested in it in the slightest, to be honest with you. I'm Premier League and Liverpool through and through. I can't bear to watch it, to be honest with you. It just bores me. So yeah, it feels like longer than a week. Can you imagine signing £125 million player just to have to sit there and wait and just watch the inside training and just soak up every little bit that we can see of him? But I'm sure we'll talk about him. But I'm really excited that we get to play again on Sunday. Just excited about this team and the kit and everything. So yeah, look, good moment to be back.
It's buzzing, isn't it? It's mad. Like, everything's so exciting. It's like a great time to be a Liverpool fan. And long may it continue, Mike. Like, these times, we've got to cherish them, right? Like, how many times have we said cherish these moments?
Yeah, man. I mean, listen. I don't know the ages of everyone here, but you grow up and you kind of go through. Okay, you got. I always think back to the Hodgson era specifically when you had Hicks and Gillette. We're on the verge of kind of, I don't want to say bankruptcy, but it looked like Liverpool were becoming almost a stale team, and mid-table. So I think of that, right? And I'm like, right, I remember what that was like for me when I was a kid in school. And like, yeah, we were the butt of every single joke. We had David and Gog up front. We had Konchesky left back. You had Jovanovic coming off the bench to try and rescue a game, which was just, it was not great. It was just a bad look for the club. So you have that. You have Dalglish come back in, and then suddenly FSG, and then you kind of just slowly build towards this Klopp, and now Scott, and now where the team is you got to embrace it. You got to enjoy it, because football works in cycles, and there will come a time, whether we want to say it or not, where maybe Liverpool aren't going to be where they are now. You can't think this is going to go on forever and ever and ever. We want it to, but you got to enjoy it in the moment. You got to celebrate everything you can.
100%. And this is why I always try to remain positive, even through the dark moments, because you're right. We know football's cyclical. Look at the Man United era and look at them now. Man City are going through a bit of a rough patch. Arsenal are in the midst of their rough patch, even though they're on the upward curve, if you know what I mean. So look, all the great institutions of the English league, the Premier League, are going through phases, and we're in a hot phase. Mo, the international break, we discussed it before we went into the international break, that I personally thought it's come at a good time. I know some of you lot disagreed with me, but I thought it's come at a good time in terms of a lot of fringe squad players that haven't had enough minutes will get minutes. And so it transpired. Robertson had 290 minutes. I think Conor Bradley had 290 minutes, lads, unless I'm mistaken. And even Alexander the Great had a few minutes and a few training sessions, which have helped. And no injuries, which is the main key part, right? So minutes plus no injuries, not bad.
Yeah, definitely came at a good time for us, because we actually got McAllister got 90 minutes under his belt as well. I think McAllister is one of the main people we want to get up to fitness, but he's going to take a lot. He's going to take time, I think, because I watched a bit of that Argentina game and he looked a bit still leggy, but yeah, that'll come. But another thing is we got Frimpong back from injury as well. So, and that all happened in that 2-week period. So, yeah, we have to take positives. Isaac got a little bit of a run out. And in the run out he made more chances than Groceries did. So, yeah, there's positives to take out of it. And we got players back. We've got a fully fit squad, no injuries. So, yeah, it's going to be. I can't wait. I can't wait till Sunday. I'm just gutted it's Sunday. I wish it was tomorrow, but yeah, Sunday. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, Jack. Obviously, international break gives us time to sort of regain fitness. I forgot about Frimpong as well, who's managed to get so many training sessions behind. He looks fully fit. Everything seems to be going well. We have decisions to make, and we're going to get into that. Obviously, Szoboszlai played well for his country as well. Conor Bradley, I think, was very important that he got minutes because, I'm thinking a few people have forgotten how good Conor Bradley has been for us so far. What do you think?
Yeah, it's obviously the departure of Trent to Madrid, the big expectation. Liverpool signed a £30 million player in the form of Frimpong. You lads have spoken about his quality over the last couple of weeks. And yeah, it's obviously getting that injury early on in the season for Frimpong. But yeah, two talented right backs that would certainly get into the majority of the top European sides, really. I think it's massive. I think, as you lads have already spoke on countless occasions, we all hate international duty, but it can, historically, especially England setup, Ox used to get injured all the time when he used to went for England. Sturridge, Gomez as well in the past.
Sturridge and Gomez. Yeah, Sturridge and Gomez used to just always come back injured, spot on.
But like the recovery from Bradley, it's integral, really, especially with Champions League on the horizon next week as well. So I think it's a plus, this international break. I think it's helped Liverpool drastically, really, and especially recovery time from Alexander Isak as well. I think even 20-30 minutes, and especially training with the Swedish national side and the other lads that way, as Bradley and Frimpong. We don't want to be rushing them back because there's a long season, as we all know, but I think any minutes are very beneficial, as we all know, mate.
Cav, we know last season that our medical team were like spot on. Like people call it luck, but we know there's much more method to the madness, or science to the the way we work. We know everything is scrutinized to players' fitness, minutes, how many times did we listen to Slot and even Klopp talk about the medical team have advised me he can only play 20 minutes. Like, that's how specific we are. So fingers crossed and all of that business, prayers up. It looks like, and correct me if I'm wrong, guys, it looks like we have a fully fit squad going into what starts ramping up to be a very busy period, because Jack's just reminded me Champions League on the horizon as well.
Yeah, and you know what? I think that one thing that we do really well last season, especially, and it seems like it's the case this season as well, is we actually listen to our fitness coaches. They're not just there and advising in the background. Like, if they say a player needs to do 60 minutes, that's what he does. You know, Slot really takes their advice on board. He trusts that they're the experts in that. And we had injuries last season, of course. That's always going to happen, but it looked like we were managing the fitness of players. It looked like we were reducing the amount of injuries because we were trusting that medical backroom staff. So I hope that remains to be the case again this season. It's all well and good having all of these great talents and these great minds behind the scenes, but you've got to use them, you've got to listen to them, and you've got to come together to make the right decisions. And I think that's one thing that was really admirable about certainly Klopp, and I think he said it enough times, that he brings people in to make up where his deficiencies are. But I think Slot's much the same as well in that respect. So that's good in terms of that fitness. I think just sticking to Slot and the international break, I think one of the important things in terms of using the time wisely is Slot himself, and looking at how the first 3 games have gone, what tests that's posed to the team, how we have overcome them, we've got maximum points, but how has it affected us? How have we played? What have we done well? What do we need to work on? Why are certain players not performing in those first 3 games? And it gives him an opportunity to watch the games back, assess, discuss with his other coaches, and plan with a fully fit squad the next batch of games coming up. So I think that's really important, because I think Slot's great, and I think he's a really good tactical coach. I don't think he's the best tactical coach, but I think he's the best learner. And I think he learns very quick. And you see it in games a lot, where he'll change things at half time, or he will have different tactics for different periods of the games, which he spoke about, certainly in the Newcastle game. And I think now it provides him an opportunity to do what he does best, learn from the games that have taken place and the preseason, obviously, that came before it, and think about how he's going to get the best out of this team moving forward. So I'd like to think that coming back with a fully fit squad, that actually the performances are going to improve as well because of that. So I think it come at a good time as well, this international break.
Mike, as usual, if you're not familiar with Cav, Cav always makes points that even I, what am I saying? Even I, like I'm the oracle or something, but Cav always makes points that even make me stand up and think, you know what? That's something to talk about and chat. And that's why I love him. He brought up something about Slot. Maybe he's not the best tactically, but he's a great learner. We forget how young Slot is. We forget that this is his first major big gig. Obviously, he was at his former Dutch clubs, right? Working his way up. And we know that he never forgets his losses. How many times did he speak about Forest last season? And then after, just when he recovered from Forest, guys, do you remember how he didn't recover from PSG? Every press conference, every chat was about Paris Saint-Germain performance, Paris Saint-Germain performance. I think Cav's got a point there, that he is a great learner. And what he will have learned, or what will he remembered, was the first game back after the international break last season. Who was it? Forest. What we were expected to do? Beat them, thrash them. The feeling was great. 3 wins in a row. And we came back and we lost to Forest. He makes a great point. What's your thoughts on that?
I like Cav's point. I disagree with it, but not in a bad, not in a way that I, I'm not like going at you by any means. I think Slot is actually, to be honest, a phenomenal tactician. I really do. And I agree. One thing that Cav said that I absolutely agree with is that he adapts throughout a game. I think that is a phenomenal point. I think it's a very important point. He does adapt throughout a game. I think at times, I look at the Arsenal game, the first half, I've watched that first half 3 times in segments. I can't act like I've sat down and watched the 45 back to back, right? But I've watched 15-minute segments on repeat. I don't think it was on the ball. It was awful. On the ball, we were awful, right? Some things you can't coach and prepare. Some things just happen in a game. But I thought the actual structure of the team and the shape of the team was perfect. I don't think Arsenal really created much of a chance in the first half. that was the worst we played in the game. I think there are times in a fair few games, including PSG, to be fair, is a good example of it, where off the ball, we weren't good defensively. We were actually very solid in terms of the setup and the shape. PSG, a lot of people like to pull the shots. The thing outside, they had so many shots. Look at where they had the shots from most of the time. Like I think structurally, he knows how to set up a very good team, whether it's for an offensive performance, whether it's for a defensive performance. I think he changes things throughout a game. He's very fluid and he's not rigid in how we approach a game, which I think is actually, again, a nod to a fantastic tactician. I think a poor tactician is someone who doesn't adapt and sticks with one philosophy and doesn't adjust. I think Klopp at times was actually quite susceptible to this. I think Klopp was a phenomenal leader and he knew how to rouse a crowd. That's probably one thing Slot at the first point, if I remember the first couple of months, we were almost like, he's almost a bit too timid. But then he almost seemed to get infected with Anfield culture and now you see him a little bit more active on the touchline. Klopp wasn't a brilliant tactician at times. He had Buvik with him, he had Linders with him, but Klopp was very good at inspiring players, pulling the best out of players. I don't think he was a brilliant tactician. I really don't. But that's not an insult to him. Okay, Rafa Benitez was a terrible man-to-man individual, but he was a phenomenal tactician. You can, if you read Carragher's autobiography, he's a great example of it. Or Gerrard's, for example. You put Gerrard on the right wing. Gerrard hated the graveyard shift. He called it the graveyard shift. But then if you actually look at the performances, I think Gerrard even says, he's like, but ultimately, me playing in this role prepared me for the next couple of years when I was suddenly playing behind Torres, or then when I had to drop deeper, I understood the role better, understand that was what was needed around me. I think Slot's very good at that. You look how he's using Gravenberch, for example. Gravenberch never really seen himself as a lone six. He's altered him. He's pulled that out. That's a great tactical move. Trent didn't really have the ability to do what we needed him to do defensively. Linders introduced the idea of pushing him into midfield, and we felt like we were sacrificing Henderson at the time. Well, what we ended up doing with Grav was we dropped Grav, we dropped Mac, and then suddenly we had this little four. Mac would push up, Gravenberch would move across, and then Trent would move across. So we'd still have the four, but Mac would then be up alongside Diaz, and then was acting in this sort of free role that we now see Wirtz in. Obviously, we've moved around tactically now. We don't really have the right back cutting in, so it's just a different shape. But I just think he's brilliant tactically, so I don't necessarily buy the idea that he's not. But again, I don't necessarily. I'm not trying to go at Cav, to be clear. But you asked my opinion. That's how I view it. But I understand that there is still to be criticism of him, and I do agree that he's constantly learning. You mentioned the Forest game. I think that's a great example. He doesn't forget his losses. He mentioned Forest probably every press conference after the Forest game, and I think he'll have that in the back of his mind after international breaks. Maybe it's crisis in my head. I do feel like we are notorious for not playing brilliantly after the international break. Maybe it's because Alexis McAllister, in my opinion, our best midfielder, is coming from South America. He's not even had a preseason. I hope he doesn't start. I love him. I don't want him to start because he's not had a preseason. But all our players are scattered around the globe. You know what I mean? Salah got a direct flight back instead of going with the Egyptian team. So I don't know. We'll see what happens. I do think he'll have Forest in the back of his mind. But yeah, I've kind of derailed and gone about 3 different ways there. So I do apologize.
No, nothing to apologize about. I love it. Brilliant chat. I love it. We don't always have to agree, and I love it, giving different opinions. What's your verdict, Mo? Judge Mo, you are sat in the middle of the panel, like you're the judge, about to give your verdict. Slot tactically. I think we will learn a lot this season, especially with the amount of signings and the profile of players that we've brought in. And we're going to go into the main, I guess, talking point is of how he's going to fit Isak into this setup. And that will give, in my opinion, much valued insight into what he is tactically like. But what have you made of him so far? And to sort of Mike and Cav's points.
Yeah, there's nothing much I can add on to their points. I mean, I think both of them.
Okay, thanks.
No, I think both have got valid points. But what I would say, I think it's too early, 3 games into this.
Either way,
yeah. I think we don't know how he's going to set up. So with all these new players he's got in now. Now he's got the full plethora of players he wants. He's got the Zizak and all that. And when they all fit, we don't really know exactly what his first 11 is going to be like. Which is the beautiful thing about it, because now he's got variation. He can go to his bench, where last year it felt like he didn't trust his bench. So now we can see it. We might even see a different kind of approach to him. But I totally agree with what Cav said. In-game management, you can see the little tweaks he made. What I've noticed, especially last season, is first half we were very, very slow. He made a couple of tweaks half time, and second half we come out and blew teams away. this season, I'm yet to see that yet because I think there's so many players to yet to gel in. I think we need to give that gelling in period. Yes, the spine is still theoretically there, but there's still 4 or 5 new players into that first 11. So that will take time to bed in. But I also think once he has his full players available, when Mac's fit and when Isak's fit, it's going to be a hell of a headache because he can try and build his Liverpool side the way he did with his Feyenoord sides and how he got his Feyenoord sides playing that fluid football. We've seen glimpses of it already in a couple of games where we've built up from the back and scored, especially the Rio goal that came from the back. I think every player had a touch of the ball, bar Szoboszlai, which was the key touch, if you can say that, the dummy, and he scored. So we've had glimpses of what it can be like, that Feyenoord slot ball style. But I think we need to be a bit patient as a fan base. There's a lot of players coming back from injury, and like we don't even know if we're ever going to see that very first 11. There's going to be cases where Matt can come back and someone else might get injured. We just don't know. So we have to be patient, and I think it's exciting because what we think he may set up, he might spring a surprise on us. So and until that happens, I think let's go with the flow and see what he comes. I think we're going to see a different kind of slot this year as opposed to next year because he's got his own players in now.
Yeah, it's key, isn't it? He's got his own players now, Jack. And I think, I was thinking this, guys, earlier on. I don't know if you guys agree. You may disagree, which wouldn't be the first time people disagree with me. But I genuinely, for the first time in ages, guys, don't know our best 11. And the reason for that is because not everyone's played. Not everyone's been fit at the same time. And there's like 6-7 new players. Like, I genuinely don't know if there's a Champions League final tomorrow, I don't know what our strongest 11 is, guys. Normally, we used to be able to reel it off. We're going to get into trying to pick a selection for Burnley as we go later on. But I want to stay with that, Jack. And I guess we can work our way into it. We're going to be chatting Ibou contract. We're going to be chatting everything that you guys wanted to throw up in the chat as well. But I want to stick on that because obviously Szoboszlai covered right back, Jack, in the period where unfortunately Frimpong was injured and Bradley was injured at the same time. Yeah. And I think it's fair to say Szoboszlai was man of the match in every game that he played at right back. And suddenly, as is always the case, there's a clamour suddenly to say, well, that's his role, that's his position. I just wanted to get all of your opinions on that because there's a bit of a debate going on Twitter, social media, about Szoboszlai's best role. What do you think?
I'll just quickly add on to that. I think you lads mentioned it last week and it was spot on, really. It was a case of trying to facilitate all the best players in the best positions, but as Mo alluded to and the other lads as well before, there's going to be different, like, apart from when we play Forest this season, and you'll be playing on the halfway line. So, like Nuno last season, it was 2 double-deckers and all that at Anfield. So it's going to be hopefully a lot more easier. But it's different personnel. But yeah, you bring Frimpong in for a reason. I think I watched quite a fair bit of Bayer Leverkusen, especially in their title win. I think a lot of us did in certain champions, especially European games. He's can be a world-class right back. I think Hakimi set the bar last season. And as the lads alluded to, the PSG game, Arne has been on countless records already over the last 12 months of remonstrating how much that game he learned from it. He's very young in terms of European pedigree, in terms of he's still a young manager anyway, but he's quite raw. And as the lads alluded to, he's still learning and he will learn. Even if this year is another stage of learning. Of course, we want to be winning the Champions League, but I think bedding in this, as we'll probably mention a bit later as well, as all the quality players coming in. But for me, I think long term, I'd go Frimpong down that right hand side. Kirkes, he's a lad who plays with the heart on his sleeve, as we know. He's had a couple of jumpy moments, but at the end of the day, we've won 3 games out of 3, and you can't really get any better than that, can you? Yes, we've shipped goals, but I think when you're changing half of the back line, the back forward anyway, obviously the 2 full-backs and the 2 centre-halves, and maybe one of those centre-halves leaving in 6-12 months' time anyway. We'll touch on that in a sec as well. But yeah, I think Do you want me to go, Grizz, with my starting 11 quickly? Just rattle
No,
through
we're
it?
not going to go into the starting 11. I just
Yeah.
wanted to see your thoughts on the Szoboszlai chat first and foremost. So you think...
I don't want him to be wasted at right back. We brought him in for the reason. And yeah, he's got the engine, he's got the lung capacity, he's got the passing range, he's got the shooting ability we've seen against Arsenal. Trent. He was very good at attacking, one of the best attacking fullback in world football. His defensive side of the game, he could still defend, but not to an extent of a Carvajal or a more defensive, like a Gary Neville type fullback. But we know But for me personally, I wouldn't waste an attacking midfielder, because I think there will be times, like say in 6 months' time we play Newcastle again. You need that physicality as well. Yeah, for me, I'd play him.
Kevstar, last week I described him as a bit of a Swiss Army knife for Slot, in terms of he may not be the number one choice in a role, but I think he's top 4 or 5 names on a team sheet, on a Liverpool team sheet, in terms of whatever role he can play. What's your thoughts on the chat around Szoboszlai and the right back situation?
I think that when this Liverpool team are fully up to speed and firing, I don't think Szoboszlai right back is the go-to solution. But this Liverpool team aren't there yet. They're finding their feet. New players are bedding in. I think Florian Wirtz in particular plays a key role in the centre of the park, and he's struggling a little bit, I'd say, in his very, very, very early days at Liverpool. He looks like he's got to get up to speed a little bit, perhaps get a little bit stronger. I think the touch is fine, but the passing's a little bit hit and miss at times. Too easy to take the ball off him. And it's important. It's taking Salah a little bit longer than usual to get into his flow. He usually starts the season off on fire. So Kerkez, I think, is being asked to do a slightly different role in terms of being more inverted to make up for the lack of having Gravenberch in the early part of the season. And I think that's the solution we've gone to try and make sure we cover the centre of the park well. And then you've got Ekitike, who's brand new, but, you know, he can only do 60 minutes and the whole side looks different. So whilst all them sort of things are falling into place, Szoboszlai then, as the hard worker, the tactically astute, multifaceted player, becomes so important, because he can compensate for that. With his hard work, he can compensate for the lack of quality and the lack of chemistry and rhythm in the side. I think when all of those things come, I think the team surpasses the need for Szoboszlai in that position. So then it's a question of where does he go at that point? And to be honest, there's loads of solutions. You could put him alongside Gravenberch and move McAllister further forward in games. You could do him in the 10 position and offer that running behind, which Salah finds so often, like he did last season. Or you play him at right back and does an admirable job. I think the truth is we'll never land on a starting 11 and we'll never get the answer to the question, because Slot's job is to pick the right team game by game. And every single game poses different questions. Are we going to come up against a side like Bournemouth that can counter-attack you really well? Are you going to come up against a side like Arsenal where you sort of nullify each other and you want to be a bit risk-averse? Or you're going to come up against a side like Newcastle where they're, 40% of the ball's in play, most of it's in the air. Or like this weekend where you come up against Burnley, who's probably going to sit back and you've got to break down a defence. Add into the mix the amount of games that we're going to play, fitness, injuries. I just don't ever see a point this season where we're going to sit here and think everybody's firing now, everybody's fit. This is a game where it's pretty neutral and we can go with whatever we want. There's always going to be those decisions made for us, if you like. So all we can say is it's a massive positive to have such a good player and such a talent that just works hard and contributes to the team in such a way, because I'll be honest with you, I'd be a bit worried about how many points we'd have right now without him. You can talk about this 25-man squad and the quality it's got and how good it will be. It could have might already been 6 points off the lead without Szoboszlai. So never take away from the fact that there's a guy in there that's just working incredibly hard. Let's not let the excitement of talent and ability and goals and assists ever overshadow the hard work as well that some players put in. And I think that's what he's demonstrated for us so far. So Burnley, I probably wouldn't play him at right back because I think we're going to come up against a low block and I don't think we need it. I think we can afford to throw, something else in there in the other players. But if we were coming up against, a side like Newcastle again, I would not be opposed to chucking him in there and doing that job as well. So I think for the time being, he's not a right back for me, but I'm open to it is what I would say.
I think he's got the physical attributes, isn't it? And that's what makes him unique. When you have the physical attributes that he has, which are quite freakish, it's like you can put him on anywhere on the pitch. And it sounds like a certain captain of the past, that he plays like. And, you talk about saving us. And yeah, there was a certain captain, Scouse captain, that I compared him to very, very early on. But listen, Mikey, we've gone 31 minutes into it without mentioning the name on everyone's lips that people want to talk about. When, how, where, what formation, what strategy?
Are we getting Wataru Endo into the side? Yeah, listen.
How do we get Wataru Endo into the team? Discuss.
No, listen. I know you. I imagine you're referring to Alexander, the Swiss man, Isak, right? The beautiful
That's the one.
The Swede. Listen, he's not going to start. I don't think. My hair looks a madness. Sorry, it's so warm. My AC is broken, so I took my hat off.
As soon as you said that, as soon as you spoke about the heat and everything, right? It started hailstoning. I don't know if you can hear it. It's hailstoning here.
Maybe I should be grateful for what I have. Maybe that's a sign. Listen, the way I see it, I'm not trying to rush Isak back in the same way I'm not trying to rush Mac back. When you don't have a preseason, or maybe when you've played too many games, it's kind of like both ends of the stick, right? So if you look at Chelsea, or you look at PSG, or Manchester City, you had the Club World Cup straight into the season, right? They play so many games, and you're coming off the back of one season straight into the other without a break. Players that incur injury. In the same way, if you don't have a preseason, you have all this time off, and you start trying to play straight away, trying to get too many minutes in the legs, you're going to get an injury. Now, what we have is Ruben Peters, who for me is just as important to the team as Michael Edwards. Ruben Peters decreased our muscle injuries by 64%. I think it was last season comparatively to the year before. That matched with Alexander Isak, who each year has got better and better in terms of his fitness with the Premier League. It is a very good match, and he'll be very well looked after. So whatever minutes he does get, trust in the fact that it has been advised by the very best, right? But I don't think you see him start a game for maybe the next. I don't think he starts the next 3 games. I'd say that. I think the next 3 games, he's going to get cameos every game. Absolutely. But I don't think he starts any of these next 3. I think you see Gakpo. I think you see Ekitike, Wirtz, Szoboszlai coming in for Wirtz, maybe Salah, Chiesa. You'll see all of these players used. You probably will see Rio as well to some extent. I don't think you see Isak start. He would be ideal against Burnley if he was fit because of a low block. A player like him is the ideal guy to get on the end of maybe a deflection or a cross, whatever. Quick movement in a box which is so crowded. I remember he scored a goal. I can't remember. I feel like Cav will have this. Cav seems to have got a fountain of knowledge in him. Cav, Isak scored a goal last season where I believe it was Josh Murphy with a really clever back heel, and you've got about 5 players around him, lands at Isak's feet. And
he finished,
yeah. That's the kind of goal against Burnley again that I imagine he would do.
Tight spaces.
Super tight spaces. And so he would be ideal. Atletico Madrid, he would be ideal, but at the same time, well, let's just not rush it. I think the beauty of what we have, like you guys have mentioned, just with Ipswich. Ali A in the chat says Ipswich. Thank you very much, Ali. You absolute legend. Ipswich is who we scored that against. But yeah, listen, I think the beauty of all the players we have, there's only 4 players for me that are guaranteed start. That's Alisson, Van Dijk, Gravenberch, Salah. If they're always fit, for me, they always start. Everyone else is subject to change. Now, Mac 10 for me is still my favorite Liverpool player. He always will be. But I can accept the fact that, he can get rotated. So yeah, other than that, I think you just adapt to whoever you're playing. You take into consideration fitness. To be honest, on Szoboszlai as well, just to touch on that, like he's been our player of the season so far. It's very early on, obviously, but in these 3 games, he's been head and shoulders the leader of the team. I think he's been fantastic. I think Van Dijk had 1 game where he's a bit off. Salah is still, as you say, easing himself in. Every time we've needed him, he's stepped up, right back, midfield, whatever. He's ran himself into the ground. I I just really, really want to give credit to him because I've criticised him. I've definitely had a couple of words for him, not in a really negative way, but I definitely felt we needed to get more out of him, especially.
Yeah, sure. Even Slot said it. Even Slot.
Yeah, absolutely. But it's just class to see him start the season the way he has. And I really hope he continues. And I think, like Cav said, Jack, and Mr. Welshmo over there said, like, there's always going to be time for these players to get game time as long as we're successful in competitions. And I think that's the one thing that'll keep everyone moving. You know what I mean? That's the motivation at the end of the day. But yeah, that's how I feel.
Mike, can I ask you a question? Sorry, I'll ask you a question because I'm sure the other guys will answer this as well. You mentioned 4 starters there, right? Is the 5th one not got to be the guy that's scoring in every game he plays?
What, Ekitike?
Ekitike, yeah.
So here's the reason why. No, I've got a very confident take on Ekitike. Ekitike is a absolutely essential player for our squad. I don't think he should be starting every game. Absolutely not. Because if you've got a game, I'll give you, and it's not because I wouldn't want him to play, right? And I'll actually use Diego Jota as an example, right? Rest in peace to Diego, right? One of the best things about Diego Jota, right? He was so composed in some of the most high-stress situations, right? Last 20 minutes of a game, if a game is 0-0, everybody is saying, bring Jota on the pitch. He will score a goal. I have the same confidence in Ekitike in that respect. The composure that man has, if I'm going into a game where I'm like, right, we could have this wrapped by half-time. Let's Burnley at home. Let's say we had Burnley at Anfield, right? I'd go, right, Burnley at home, everyone's fit. I'm going to go, right, let's go, we'll go Gakpo on the left, Isak up front, Salah on the right, go Verts midfield. You go for it, right? Then you end up in one of those situations where it's like, it's 1-1 here. It's 1-1 here. It's 25 minutes to go. We still haven't broken down. Tell you what, we'll switch to a 2 up front. Let's take Gravenberch off, put Szoboszlai here, Verts there, whatever, and we'll get Ekitike alongside Isak. Because what Ekitike said in his interview, Slot brought me in to play 2 roles, second striker or the main guy. I can play either, right? The second striker comment, I think, was very important because I think when we signed Ekitike, we made it clear to him we still wanted Isak. I think he knew that. And then you had the Ekitike interview come out this week as well, where he's praised Isak as well. I think he's the ideal guy to bring on when there's 25 minutes to go in a game when you're looking for a goal. So I think it's always good to have him in the tuck of certain games. If you're trying, you know what I mean? If we have a Champions League game midweek, I'm not starting Isak and Ekitike on the weekend. I'm starting one of the 2. You know what I mean? And then you bring the other on for the final 20. So that's why I see it like that. But I'm enamored with Ekitike. I really am, to be clear.
It's not quite third world problems, is it? It's like this is madness. It's like look how we're talking, like amongst the family. Like, Ekitike, Isak this week. What are we saying, boys?
Not too bad.
Yeah, Grizz, you know what? I'll take the Bentley out today, and I'll take the Lambo out tomorrow. That's what it feels like. It's a bit luxurious, isn't it?
It's mad. Before we get, we're going to start slowly getting into a lineup for Burnley, and then obviously we're going to speak on Ibou's situation as well. I've got a super chat to get through very quickly. Darwin Slander, what a name! That could easily be my burner. From what I've seen, Szoboszlai should be a starter, preferably in midfield. It's not a surprise our counter press has struggled with him deeper than usual. He's arguably our best switcher of the ball too. Interesting.
Great points. I like the point about the press because that is an area we need to improve on for sure.
When he's not playing, we feel it, right? Chris, who do you prefer, Bradley or Frimpong? It's way too early to ask me on Frimpong in a Liverpool shirt, brother. I love Bradley. I absolutely love Conor Bradley. I will say that much. We're going to start getting into the lineup, and I'll come to you, Mo. Where's the dilemmas? Where's the headaches? Where's the difficult decisions? Because like I said, I agree with what I think Cav said or Mike said. I think we've got 4 starters, and everyone else is literally up for a game.
I think this weekend's game is pretty easy to pick, and I think
go on then, son. Let's see how wrong he is. People in the chat, this is where you start the clip up from this point onwards.
All right, clip it.
See how wrong he is.
I'll go. I think the only headache for Slock this game is going to be right back, but I'll pick who I'm going to pick, okay? And with the players available and taking in mind the international travel as well. So Ali in goals, Bradley, Ibou, Virgil, Kirkes. Grav, Dom, Wirtz, Gakpo, Ekitike, Mo. 60 minutes time, if nothing's gone our way, or even if we're comfortable, Jones and Matt come on for some minutes, maybe. Even bring on Frimpong to get his minutes back up as well. If we're chasing a game, which I hope we're not, then I don't want to see Alexander. I'd love to see him, to be honest, but I think we don't need to rush it. We only need to see Alexander the Great if we need that goal, and then he has to come on, But I generally think we won't see him until maybe Everton, if I'm honest.
Jack, is there any changes to the lineup in your opinion? I don't want to say nothing, but go on. I don't think that's going to be the team. But go on, Jack.
I think I'd go as similar with Mo, mate. I'd put. Apologies, mate. I think did you put Frimpong or Bradley right back? Or
I went Bradley. I did.
Yeah, I go. Yeah, Bradley right back, and I think be the same attack and midfield really. Yeah, I think
not a case for Curtis Jones. He's been
he was instrumental.
He's going to be the freshest. He's going to be the freshest midfielder, and Slot does go for the freshest midfield, man.
It's that debate. You spend $100 million on an attacking midfielder in Viet, but I know obviously with Grav coming back into the side and Mac.
Did Gakpo play both games as well? 90 minutes, guys, or pretty much?
I don't know.
I'll check. But I'm guessing he did. You wanted the starters anyway, but yeah, I'd say same again, mate. Try and get 12 points out of 12. Maybe we pick up injuries, but I think consistency is key with starting 11. I think we need to start building a bit more rhythm, really.
See, the thing is, what we have to throw in the mix, guys, here, and this is where Mo might start having second thoughts now, is we have Atletico Madrid 3 days later. And so suddenly there becomes selection headache. Call it a headache, but dilemma, I'd say. It's not a headache. So I should have told you that before, but I just wanted to see how wrong you're going to be, Mo.
No, I would still stick with the same team.
And then the same team against.
No. This is why I said.
Now you're asking him to predict two sides.
No. But this is what I said.
Listen, he's capable. Go on.
Regardless of the score against Burnley, in 60 minutes you make those changes. You give.
I see.
You give minutes to Jones. You give minutes to Mac. You give minutes to Frimpong. Come Atletico on Tuesday, you'd like to think that maybe Mac gets to start if he's got enough minutes, or even Jones gets to. I would actually start Jones against Atletico on Tuesday, to be honest. I'd go Jones, Grav, Wirtz. And then I'll go Frimpong if he's had enough minutes in his legs as a right back. If Bradley, picks up a nick or whatever. Bradley, I've still got a question mark over him whether he can play 2 games in a week. That's my issue.
He's played 2 games. Yeah, he's played 90 minutes for Ireland.
Going back to Jones' point that Jack made, that why I personally wouldn't sign him, because he's been one of our best players coming off the bench in the last 3 games. So, I know that probably in some cases that may deserve him a start, but I think Jones coming on when we need a bit of control is the perfect player to come on when you need to calm things down and slow the game down. And against Atletico, we might need that from the start. I get that. But against Burnley, we're going to have most of the ball, I think. So I don't think we need that, that kind of Jones profile player. So that's why I think 60 minutes, make those changes. Atletico, you'll see a little change and tweak in the midfield, especially.
That's going to be a battle, but we've got 5 subs now. Maybe 10 years ago, 3 subs only. But now I think that's an extra 2 subs. Thank you, Jürgen, for that as well. But it's and the Club World Cup injuries and all the Chelsea injuries, but whatever. Jürgen was right.
He did make some bad points, did he, Jürgen, to be fair to him?
Yeah.
He knew what he was on about.
Yeah.
Tav, what's your lineup taking into consideration Atletico Madrid a few days later? Or is it a case of this is the priority and then Champions League can take care of itself? I don't know where your viewpoint is.
I think I think Atletico is an important game, but I think from what we learned last season, we can relax a little bit in this stage of the Champions League. We don't have to go out and win every single game. I still think you've got to take Atletico seriously. It's such a shame it's them that's come up first time. But I think I like Mo's take on perhaps bringing Curtis Jones in for the Atletico game because he offers you that little bit more press resistance, a bit more control over the ball. You want that against a stronger side in Atletico. So I would opt to do the same in the midfield for him. My take, the key decision is the right back, isn't it? And my take's a little bit different, I suppose, in the sense that I know it's Burnley and I know we will control the ball and I know we should win with ease. But the Liverpool side right now isn't really clicking in its football. So I would opt to go with Frimpong because he, for me, looks like somebody who's going to just be up and down the pitch. He's going to try things on the overlap. He's going to more likely open up space and opportunities for others than Bradley perhaps is at this point in time. So I would just want to put Frimpong in there purely for what he can offer offensively to try and just move that Burnley side around. I also think that he's at the moment likely to get more out of Salah because Salah will always look to receive the ball out wide right, and then pick his head up. Is it across the back stick? Can I cut in? Is there space to do that? Can I play that through ball to the third man run or an overlapping run? I think the issue we'll have with Bradley at the minute is he loves to step inside and occupy like the 10 position, and it's going to be too congested against a side like Burnley. So I'd opt to just maybe, try and get the Burnley side stretched as much as possible. And I'd get Frimpong on the right, and I'd be telling Kirkes to do what you've been doing more naturally back at Bournemouth, where you're more of an overlapping fullback, you stay wide. And actually, one thing I've been quite surprised in his game is the amount of times he'll cross from deep and with good quality as well. I'd be saying to him, if there's that space in behind him moments, utilize that as well. We need to make sure we're better in this game in moving the opposition around. And I think that really is the key part for me in terms of the selection. There's no need to have Szoboszlai right back. Bradley, I think, will just clog up the midfield, get Frimpong there, get Kirkes wide right. And it's a game for Florian Wirtz. It's a game for Florian Wirtz to come up against a low block, get the ball so many times, and just show that quality in them tight areas that we know he's got. He's probably not going to have to do a lot of tracking back, to be honest with you. We can compensate for him not doing that. So this is going to be a great game that we've all thought about when we signed Florian Wirtz. He's going to be key in them games where we come up against low blocks and we can't break teams down. He's going to be the difference maker. So this is his first opportunity, I think, in that type of game to showcase that. So I'm keeping everybody the same. I'm bringing Frimpong into the side as well.
Mike, are you doing anything different to any of the lads have said? Can I just ask, guys, because I haven't been following Premier League football like I usually do, have Burnley evolved?
Burnley are playing.
Yeah.
So when you say
under Sean Dyche, we knew we picked the most physical, biggest team, right? Under Company, it was all about, they're not going to play. They're going to try to play football and we're going to batter them. Under Scott Parker, is Scott Parker the manager?
Yeah, Scott Parker. There's a style of football there, but they had the best defense in the Championship last year by some stretch. I think they were very good in that respect. They were not brilliant at finding the back of the net. This year, they've not been brilliant defensively, and they've also not been brilliant at finding the back of the net. They play what you'd expect Burnley to play. It's somewhere between Dyche 1 and Dyche 2.0, I guess. I don't know. What is that a fair assessment, lads?
Yeah, I'd say that's a fair assessment.
They knock it about, but you're not going to see anything technically brilliant. They're very hard.
Taking that into consideration, then
I've got a few changes.
Go on.
Sorry, I have a few changes. I'd put Robbo in. I think so I'll explain why. And to be fair, it actually goes to the reason Cav was saying. So I put Frimpong in as well. So I'd have Frimpong on the right for the exact same reason Cav said. I think you need to stretch them. I put Robbo in because I think we're better off doing the somewhat of the weird little back three thing we were doing last year with Robbo. Keep Robbo back so we're not as susceptible on the counter, which is what Burnley are going to try and hit us with. Let Szoboszlai or Wirtz and whoever's on the left, which will be Gakpo, probably rotate in that area, pull players around, make the overlap. Gakpo loves to cut inside. Wirtz can then float out to that side. We'll have one of our two holders, which will probably be Szoboszlai and Grav. One of them step up, so you can kind of just sort of overload the our left-hand side with the midfielder and the winger. I keep with Ekitike, keep with Salah, keep with Gakpo. Your midfielder probably There you go. They're a bit more a little attacking, but invite you on. Yeah. And then, Wirtz, Grav. Yeah, literally the only changes. I'd put Robbo in. And the reason I'd put Robbo in isn't just for the Burnley game, because like if you look at Atletico, but at home, Atletico have been dreadful this season. A friend of mine bets on Spanish football quite regularly. He keeps putting Atletico in his acca. They keep letting him down. So that should tell you all you need to know about Atletico Madrid.
Have a word with your friend. Tell him to keep betting.
Yeah. No, listen, I'm a real good mate. I keep telling him the next one will hit. Keep them in the bet. If you keep going, one day it'll come in. You're 10 bets away from being a millionaire. That's what I keep telling him. But the thing is, Atletico Madrid haven't been the same Simeone Atletico Madrid that we used to. And I think you go there, they're coming at Anfield. Have a fresh Kirkes for that game. Okay. I take Wirtz off after 60 minutes against Burnley. Have a fresh Wirtz for that game. Because you're talking about space, talking about breaking sides down. Wirtz under the lights at Anfield in the 10 position against a Atletico Madrid side. That's why you signed Wirtz. I'm saying this as a joke. I don't give a fuck about him playing at Turf Moor. I cared about him under the lights at Anfield in the Champions League. That's what I've signed a £100 million player for. Right. Yeah. The only other change, I think Welsh Mo mentioned Curtis Jones. I agree. Curtis Jones is, to be fair, a very underrated player so far this season as well. Every time he came on, helped control the game. I thought he was essential at Newcastle. I thought he was essential at the Arsenal game as well. I'd absolutely bring him on. He'd be the person I'd bring on for Wirtz, and then I'd push Szoboszlai up, and then Mackey give 20 minutes to as well at some point. But yeah, I think Robbo would be the player I'd bring in because we've been susceptible when we've lost possession. And I think just to avoid anything silly, I would put Robbo in just for a bit more defensive stability. I love Kirkes. I think Kirkes would be, again, because of his attitude, his personality, and his youth, he's very much a younger Robbo in my eyes, and the way he is with his attitude and his work. You put him in under the lights at Anfield in the Champions League night, and you're going to get... He'll play on that atmosphere. You know, he's a player who plays to the atmosphere, you know?
Equally, this might sound daft, right?
Go on.
But I think that's the reason why Bradley has to play against Atletico as well, because the
Anfield I'm in agreement.
Absolutely love him. And it's off the back of that Real Madrid game, right? Last season. I was sat there, I was at the game. Even before that, right? I was sat there at the game, right? And I was watching it, and I said, "This is the Bradley show." And everybody around me said, "This is the Bradley show." And and then the Mbappe challenge happened, and obviously he contributed with the assists and stuff. And it was just actually, when you talk about Champions League under the lights and getting the crowd on side and getting behind, he actually fits that. For
to be fair, Cav, I agree with that, because I'd not even said it, but one of the reasons I guess we both start Frimpong against Burnley is again so you can start Bradley against Madrid, not Madrid, Atletico Madrid. Yeah, you know, and I absolutely agree. I think those two fullbacks, just because of how aggressive they are, they'd work perfectly against an Atletico Madrid side, because we all know that Atletico Madrid are hitting the floor every chance they get to win a foul. So if we're going to foul them properly. Like, you know what I mean?
I think one of the reasons why we kind of fell off in the second half, when I say fell off, marginal fall off, we still ended up champions and etc. But sort of, do you remember around the PSG League Cup final period? I think there was a slight fall off because of the lack of rotation. And I think someone made the point about earlier, we're not sure if he trusted his squad or Klopp's squad, as was the case. This time round, he's pretty much got his squad. I think he trusts his squad far more. And that's why I think there'll be a few changes in between these two games. But we must end the show, the final 10 minutes or so, talking about contract situations. My God, was contract situations the talk of the town last season. We do not need another saga. But it seems, or it appears, or it looks like we may have one on our hands. Ibou Konate made what was said or thought to be a tongue-in-cheek comment when asked about, does Kylian Mbappe call you or something, to come to Madrid? And Ibou, I can imagine Ibou saying it with a smile and a ho 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 laugh, to go along with it, right? But obviously we've been kind of burnt, or we have PTSD from the Trent situation. Mo, what was your take, and how do you feel about Konate?
Ibou's my guy, man, and I'm a bit like, last week I was like, nah, he's not going, and then this week I'm thinking, oh God, maybe he might go, and then like I'm 50-50. And what I will say is, and this is probably me being just optimistic as fuck, probably, but those rumors are coming out more from Madrid side journalists, I don't think many our side journalists are running with it. Yes, we've been offered a contract, apparently a new offer, but he's also not come out and said anything. So I'm holding on to that. I'm holding on to the fact that eventually he will sign a contract. I don't know why he's delaying it, but a part of me, like it's 50-50. A part of me is like gutted. I'm generally gutted if he goes, because if his head's been turned, then we got to get some money for him. I can't have him leaving on free. I don't know what you guys think. Do we get rid of him in January, or do we let him play? Do we let him play out? I'm just throwing it out there. Look, we can't do it. We can't let Madrid pick.
We don't need money, Mo. We don't need money.
Why would you call him like that?
You don't need money, so you're allowing him to walk for free to Madrid again.
What options do you have?
Depending on Gahey, if he comes next season, he's on a free. But
guys, before we get everyone's opinion, we discussed this last season, guys. You can't force a player. Why do fans, not just you, Mo, me, everyone, we all have this notion of no, get rid of him. You can't get rid of someone. If the player has his mindset on a free transfer and banking those wages where the transfer fee would have been, right? You can't force no one, guys. Stop this naive thinking. It's either keep him and hope that he signs a new deal, or you let him go at the end of the deal. And that's the way it is. Go on.
Now you said that, my gut feeling is he's probably going to walk at the end of the season.
But what's your opinion on sort of how is he being treated as compared to Trent? Are the situations similar? And this is to all of you lot. So go on, you go first.
I think yes and no. No, because he's not a local Liverpool, and he hasn't come through the system and so forth. Yeah. Also, we don't know what he's been offered. We don't know what figure he wants. We don't really know what's happening behind closed doors. It's very quick for us as fan bases to read journos peddling stories and jump on that. But at the end of the day, we don't really know. So for me, I'm just going to be patient and let it play out. But if you're asking me my gut feeling, he's probably going to go, isn't he?
Jack, how's your feeling about the whole Ibou situation? Is he being lamented unfairly? Should he have made those comments? Or is it naive?
It's the social media world we live in, mate. All of us, if you ever do a video, it's like people watch 10 seconds off an hour episode that you've tried to analyze something, but you've seen the last 10 seconds and go, oh, that's your point straight away. For me, it's going to be extremely difficult. I think we're in a position now, not when Xabi Alonso left to Real Madrid and Mascherano to Barca. We're in a completely different stratosphere now to the shape of the football club. We are the biggest destination in European football. Of course, Real Madrid, every player, especially South American lads, even anyone that wants to have that dream. I always thought that Ibou might go to PSG eventually. I think he might do come at the end of his career, mate. But I think at the end of the day, Arne will probably pull him into the room and just go, Ibou, he'll crack on. He's not a lad. He's a great personality. If he is to leave, he's just got to let us know as soon as. I think the management, the hierarchy as well. Because if he is going, then Liverpool, that allows fundamentally us to plan to get possibly Gahey in January. If there's a deal to be made with Real, with Ibou going the other way for maybe 10, 15 million, then sound. But it's for me, it's dependent on possibly Gahey. But we're in a position now, as the lads have alluded to, we've spent a lot of money. Of course, you want to be bringing money in, but even if you just look at the money that we've made off the third shirt, I know obviously we're absolutely minted off the back of that release because it's absolutely quality. So we're absolutely beaming ear to ear with money, revenue, every department of this football club, on the field, off the field, recruitments, every avenue. Liverpool are leading European football. On the pitch, we're doing that as well. But if Ibou wants to go at the end of the season, we wish him well, and especially if he wins us the league title and even a European trophy, he's a champion. A bit similar to some players that have left us over the last couple of months as well. I was disappointed to see Lucho go, and especially with Mo coming off the back of it as well. If he is to go, he'll be going, hopefully, come what the end of the season, a champion. But if he signs a 5-year deal, the long-term successor to Van Dijk. But when Real Madrid come calling, for certain players, you just can't say no. And we just got, I personally, I've got to the point now, like Torres left. That was my big lesson as a young Liverpool fan.
Yeah, all of us, I think, yeah. Cav, Ibou feelings?
Yeah, he's gone in the summer. He won't go in January. I think he'll want to see out his contract, get a big payout bonus when he goes to Madrid. He'll want to win the trophies that he's helped contribute towards between now and January. He'll want to see them through and collect the big trophies with us. I think it's disappointing because you kind of really like the man and the player. You know, I think he's been a great character for us. You know,
but who hasn't? This is what I love, and this is what I hate about him. In the squad that we've had for the last 2-3 years, we love them all. Really,
we've got great people. We've got great people. Yeah. So I'll be disappointed to lose him. I think the way that I do get frustrated that it's Madrid again. You know, because I'm like, Liverpool are splashing 100+ M's now. We're breaking transfer record fees. We're winning league titles. We bang on favourites to win everything we're in again this season. We're at that top table. We shouldn't be still in this situation where players think it's theirs to step up. You know, it should, if anything, just be a different kind of experience for them. But it won't be a better one than being at Liverpool. But obviously, I'm biased, right? Again, I think he goes in the summer. And the way that I kind of heal from the situation is I ask myself, do I think he is the successor to Virgil van Dijk? And I don't think he is. I don't think he is. I don't think he's that player. I think he's a very good, bullish defender. I think his intelligence has grew during his time at Liverpool. But I can't say for confidence that Liverpool are going to win for Premier Leagues and Champions Leagues without Virgil van Dijk and somebody else beside Konate. I just don't see him yet as that leader, that guy. He might come with a bit more age. Whereas I actually look at someone like Gay and think, I probably could see that. A little bit of leadership, a little bit of experience, being the talker at the back and a bit more composure about him and being the guy that doesn't step in, the one that drops off. I like it because we're so used to it with Virgil van Dijk. He's not the aggressor. He's the sit back, the talker, position the line, communicate, composure no matter what the period or stress is in the game. And I like my leader at the back and my future captains to be like that. And I just don't see it in Konate. I always think he's a very, very good defender, one of the best in the world, but I don't see it as a successful Virgil van Dijk. So that's how I'm kind of going to recover from it when he does go, because I think he does, to be honest with you. And look, this is the byproduct as well of Liverpool spending so much money and offering big contracts out. There's going to be these really good players that can go to the top sides in the world that are going to command big contracts. Equally, I trust the people that make these decisions at Liverpool. So if he walks away in the summer, I'll just think, okay, the laptop, the analytics, the algorithm, the formulas, the conversations in the right rooms led us to this decision, and I trust our club will get it right.
Mikey, final word on the Ibou situation, the toxic nature of social media. Should it be lamented? Is it different from Trent? Final word to you.
Yeah, listen, it's massively different from Trent. Like, I don't know if maybe it's my old age. I don't have it in me to feel.
Did you say your old age?
My old age, mate. This beard is dying.
The youngest fella on this show has just...
I'm not the youngest fella. Cav's the youngest fella.
Trust me, Cav looks young, but trust me, you are the youngest fella on this show.
There's no way.
I'm telling you.
I'm not going to out you here. Text me your age. I don't. I'm so confused. You can't be saying.
Mate, tell us, are you in your 20s or 30s?
Brother, I fucking look like I'm in my 40s. I'm late 20s now, boy. I'm late 20s.
Yeah, I'm 30. The big for you.
I told you.
Cav, how old are you, boy?
I'm 31.
Fuck off. Oh, my God. Insanity. Yeah. Well, listen, you're aging better than me, son. I feel like I'm 40. But
I'll send you my skincare routine. I'll send it.
Oh, please do that. Sarah V. Link me up. Link in bio. No, lad. Like, okay, go. Lost all professionalism there. Listen, I'd say this. I don't have it in me to feel hatred towards. I don't even really have it towards Trent, to be honest with you, lad. Like, I didn't like how he left. It's not that I don't wish him badly. I just don't wish him well. You know what I mean? And then with Konate, it's like, you've came here, you've won everything bar the Champions League with us. Sound, well done, cracking job. Appreciate the work. You want to leave? Fair enough. No stress. I don't have it in me. Like I don't like. He's not Van Dijk. With respect, and that is not disrespect by saying he's not Van Dijk. You know,
who is?
Chelsea.
There's not many.
I look at Chelsea, right? Chelsea had John Terry for a very, very long time, and he had many, many very good partners alongside him. And every single time that partner left, every Chelsea fan went, "It's fine because he's not Terry." You know what I mean? That's how I feel. You know what I mean? It's not a disrespectful thing, you know. Yeah, man, I wish him the best. Do I wish he was going to another club? Yes. Do I wish we were getting a fee? Yeah. But if you deliver me another Premier League, mate, that's equal to the 15, 20 mil we could have got in January. You know what I mean? So it's like we get to January and you've got two options. You've got 15 mil for him from Madrid, or you've got potentially a Premier League title. No stress. I'll bite my tongue and let's just go for the Premier League title. My only thing, and this will always be my thing, if he knows he's leaving, just announce it. Just say. If you put an announcement out and you are honest and you say, listen, I've negotiated with the club. We couldn't come to terms with the contract. I am going to move to Madrid. That is my next step. Loved every minute of the club. I'm going to give my absolute all, and I want to deliver one last piece of silverware before I go. Love the club, love the fans. Great, thank you for everything. No worries. People will be pissing on social media for a couple of weeks. You'll always have that small little cesspool that don't like him because you get that with anyone who has any sort of notoriety anywhere. But the majority of fans, and definitely the fans in the stadium, they'll wish him well. Christ, they gave Trent a farewell. Christ, some of them even clapped Michael Owen on the return. Like, he's going to be fine. You know what I mean? And Liverpool are going to be fine. I'm not too concerned. I do think he goes, and I wish him all the best. Crack on. You know what I mean?
I think the scenario is different from Trent's. I think ultimately it's come to light that Trent led us up to the very last minute. There was a piece in The Athletic where, and this is where my confidence came from, because I was told he hasn't told the club. There's still negotiations. And so it transpired that he told the club in March that he's decided to go to Madrid, which is not on. I think the club were naive. I've given my opinions on the Trent scenario, and I think the club were naive sort of in the way they handled the Trent and thought, oh, he's a local boy, he'll come round. So that's why my frustration or even anger or resentment with Trent is completely different from Ibou. I'm of the belief that Ibou doesn't want to leave Liverpool Football Club. I'm of the belief that Ibou wants to stay at Liverpool, but he wants the right deal. And I'm also of the belief that Liverpool probably don't see him as important a cog as maybe he feels he should be or is, or his performances have shown to be. So that's why I think it's a different scenario, whereas Trent had made his mind up and was out, but was not telling us. I think Ibou wants to stay, but if we don't give him the right deal, he's willing to walk away, and we're willing to let him walk away. Fingers crossed. Hopefully there is still a negotiations to be had, and hopefully he does still say, I don't think it's clear as you guys think. Either way, I still think there's a chance Ibou does agree a deal because of the fact that he wants to stay. But let's see. I think Slot has a very important role in this, because I feel as though Slot will be, again, just a feeling. I think Slot will be the deciding factor between the two parties to say, he's this crucial to me or he's not this crucial to me. We don't know what Slot thinks. And that's the key part. Because if Slot goes to the nerds, no, go that extra 30,000, 40,000. I want to keep him. Or if Slot says, because Slot has got this tendency to say, no problem. I'll keep it moving. I'm a coach. It's intriguing, but let's not end on a possible negative or whatever, a downer. The Reds are back in action, or the Greens, I should say. In action on the weekend.
What a kid.
Oh, what a kit. Yeah, look, I don't want to tweet too much about kits and everything else. All I'm going to say is I'm actually buying a kit. Now, me being a tight ass, that should tell you everything you need to know. If I'm buying a kit, wow.
You're buying the green one?
No, the away one.
Oh, the white one. Nice.
Long sleeve.
Long sleeve, gotta be.
Long sleeve, man. I can't be showing my hairy arms in public, man. Come on.
You gotta get the long sleeve.
I'm werewolf, man.
You guys bought them. You got yourself one of them yet?
Yeah, I've ordered the green one. But Grizz didn't want to talk about kids, right? They got me with the long sleeve red, right? And then the green come out, and I thought,
surely
I've got long sleeve green. So now I've got short sleeve green. I've got
I'm going to Atletico on Tuesday, and I know I'm going to end up buying something from the club shop. So
you got to, lad. You got to, lad. I play five aside here. Bear in mind the fucking heat, right? I'm buying the long sleeve red. I should not wear a long
It's
sleeve.
just so good. It's just so. I'm going to sleep in it and
Just
shit.
want to pretend you're Gerrard. Like,
Just look, use it as a top. I'm going to use it as pajamas in the evening, man. I'm telling you that.
That's hilarious.
But guys, Cav, I promised you we're going to have 2 minutes or a few minutes on.
I know.
I forgot to mention. But
But
I'm going to give it. No. I am going to give you a couple of minutes because I did promise you, and I'm a man of my word. Like a new signing, Stefan Bajcetic. I know we've spoken about depth and in midfield and depth in DM and depth in centre back, even possibly. This could be a key moment in Stefan Bajcetic's Liverpool career, sir.
Yeah, I think it's possibly the wild card player of
wild
the season.
Cards.
Because Rio is like not really wild card now because we know what we're going to get with Rio, right? He's going to be exciting, he's going to take people on, he's going to get his moment, right? Whereas Bajcetic is just like a forgotten man until he rocks up with a few images and you realise he's piled on like 10 stone.
He looks.
He's the forgotten guy, and that's fine because we've got so much quality, and he's had his injury problems and he's not played, so I get it. But I love the style of the player. I love what he can do, and I just think that as a wild card, we might be talking at the end of the season, thinking about how he, maybe not saved us in the midfield position, but when we needed to rotate Gravenberch last season, and there wasn't really anybody to do a similar job, this season it could be Bajcetic. That is very good on the ball, defensively strong in the tackle as well, can link up well with short, intricate passing, can break lines with some of his passing. I think that I'd love to be sat here at the end of the season saying that he offered a rotation to Gravenberch, and now we don't need to look for a 6 in the summer because he's made that step. And I'm holding out for it.
I hope I'm so wrong. I've never hoped that I'm wrong on a player ever in my life because I love being wrong for the sake of Liverpool Football Club. And Cav knows my thoughts, what I mean by that.
You've never seen it, Grizz. That's
no. I want him to. Now that I've seen him put on lean muscle and height and physicality, and
I'm telling you,
he'll save us 50 million. I want him to say
this is like it's like someone who like seeing a UFO trying to convince someone who doesn't believe in aliens. That's what this feels like here. I know it's beautiful.
Cav's been best part of 2 years. Cav's been trying to convince me of
I'm on record this summer, right? We've signed incredible players. Conor Bradley and Bajcetic are the two guys that I just can't seem to get away from. I'm wholeheartedly got all my chips on them players. I just want to see them do so well because I believe their abilities so much.
Bradley, I'm there.
Cav, I'm you in 12 months' time because I had all my stocks in Tyler Morton.
Oh,
Tyler's passionate in France. Lads,
I put my stocks in Bradley, Morton, and that fullback that we signed a couple of years back with Nunes.
Ramsey.
Lads, it's not looking good for me. My stocks are really plummeting. I've got Bradley. That's all I've got left, boy. If he doesn't work,
Grizz, Vinny was your guy as well. Calvin Ramsey was your guy. You were telling us.
Calvin Ramsey's injuries have absolutely.
Yes, man. I hear you, bro.
Such a footballer. And Tyler Morton's. You remember I named him Tyler Busquets after his San Siro performance.
Tyler's a G.
Yeah. My chicken potatoes are getting cold, man. Can you please stop talking, please? Like, I need to eat, and I've got big.
I've been working 6 hours, Grizz. Be dedicated.
I've got 6 and 45 minutes. You know what I mean? So it's like. But listen, love you all, of course, and love you guys in the chat. This has been another episode 6, I believe. Our data nerd has told us. Jack says it's episode 6. Join us for episode 7, where we will be talking about 12 points out of 12. Verts probably unlocking that defense. Maybe it's that cameo. So many things to discuss. Of course, the small matter of Atletico Madrid as well. So join us next week for another episode of Red Room. I was gonna say my former show, Red Fellas, but hey, we're all one big family. Love you all. Peace, love, and tranquility.